The Bible says when Jesus went up the mountain, he spent all night in prayer, and then he chose his disciples. If the Son of God needed all night in prayer, Jesus needed 12 hours or perhaps 6 to 12 hours of waiting on God to choose his disciples. But you choose your spouse after 5 minutes of being wrapped. If the Son of God needed all night in prayer, if the Son of God needed 40 days in prayer and fasting to move him from a carpenter's son to the Messiah, you and I will do no different if we want to fulfill the agenda of God for our lives. Taking a major decision in your life, I'm amazed sometimes when I hear someone say, oh, I came to church and I saw a beautiful damsel, the way she sang, and I proposed to her. And sometimes after I have spoken to the person, I put my hands on my head and I'm wailing. What has Christianity been reduced to? The Bible said for Jesus, he will not judge even after the sight of his eyes. And you will see the trouble and chaos that believers get into because of wrong choices. When we judge after, oh, this gentleman is so handsome, he looks so beautiful, he has a lot of money, a beautiful car, and quickly, within a matter of minutes, you see a Christian who has, I want to go out with this guy. He proposed to me. And I asked him, when did you meet him? Oh, he came to church last week. Man of God, I want to go out with him. Sometimes my heart aches. Jesus needed 12 hours or perhaps 6 to 12 hours of waiting on God to choose his disciples. But you choose your spouse after 5 minutes of being wrapped. Dear Christian, you can't produce the results that Jesus produced. It will make a shipwreck of your faith. Because I can tell you, the moment you join God's army, the enemy decided to come after you. And you and I must learn how to engage God in intense seasons of prayer if we will turn our lives around and align to the will of God. I see Jesus willing to do the will of the Father, willing to go to the cross and die for humanity. Yet his flesh was contrary. He was struggling to fulfill the agenda of God for his life. The Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 26 that his heart was heavy. His soul was in weariness. He was in depression. Yet he knew the key to align their lives to God. There are some believers I know that even when they are struggling in life, still you will not see them when you call them to hours of prayer. They want the 10 minutes of prayer. But the secret to longevity in our walk with God is to combine our habits with prayer with times of waiting on God in intense prayer. And so Jesus would get into the Garden of Gethsemane, and those 3 hours were not the usual 3 hours. The Bible said he prayed till his sweat were like drops of blood, and he engaged the Father, calling for help, that he would align his soul unto the will of the Father. Prayer is not only a time of asking, but times that even to do that which is right, we will need angelic help. The Bible said, is any man afflicted, let such a man pray. Christian, are you worried and burdened by anything? It may not be the time to run after men of God. It is important. But I want to ask you, what is the state of your prayer closet? For I guarantee you that if you will learn how to pray and call on the God of heaven, he has promised that anyone who calls upon me, I will answer. He said, unto thee shall all flesh come, thou who hearest prayer. Are you anxious? Are you worried? Are you fearful? I submit to you, the way of the master is to engage the prayer altar once again and call on God till he comes through for you and turns your situation around. There are times you may go through the storm, but I guarantee you there will be angelic supernatural help. Joy unspeakable, full of glory. Men will look at you and wonder how you are making it through a time of trial, but I guarantee you that there will be divine help for you. Paul said, I have prayed and prayed and prayed, but God came through and told him that grace has been released. It will be sufficient for you for the thorn that is affecting you. Is any man afflicted? Are you sick? Are you troubled? Are you weighed down? Are you anxious? It is time for you to follow the way of the Master. Separate yourself from men. Separate yourself from all the talk and call the God who bought you with his precious blood. For if that God be for you, who can be against you? Child of God, the Lord waits on you. Burdened, weary. The songwriter said, what needless pain we bear. All because we are talking too much, complaining too much, grumbling too much, not carrying everything to God in prayer. The Lord waits to hear your cry. Pray. He would hear. He will come through for you. God bless you. I love you so much. Join me once again next week, Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. as we look at the life of Jesus.